home. Our life is a bundle of beliefs. Every one of us have got our own bundle of beliefs. We believe that what I know is truth, is right, is perfect. This is how the belief goes. And it varies from person to person. One fellow says this is right, another fellow says no, that's not right, this is right. Why? Because I believe so. This gives a good result. Maybe for you, not for me. I believe in something else. That is a stand wherein every one of us say, because I believe it is true. Because I believe it is right. So here, the right or wrong depends on my belief in it. It is totally, we call it as Vyaktinishta, subjective. But there are many people who search for truth and say, it is true, therefore I believe. It's not true because I believe, but because it is true, so I believe. Now it's totally a different point of view. And if we closely observe the two, you'll be able to understand that the second stand is more stable compared to the first one. It's easy to understand. The beliefs keep on changing, but the truth will never change. So if I place my belief in truth, I'm stable because truth is stable. If I believe and say this is truth, if my belief gets disturbed, if my belief gets changed, the one in which I believe also will get altered, and that is no truth. Understanding this point is very important to lead a comfortable and happy life which is undisturbed in nature. Now, it's for us to investigate, to search for, to discover truth and place our belief in it. Unless we search for truth and place our belief in it, we may get disturbed, may get hurt because our belief is not placed in truth and truth alone. Now, what is truth? Truth is objective. It doesn't depend upon whether I know it or not. It doesn't depend upon whether I like it or not. It doesn't depend upon whether I want it or not. It's independent of all these things. It is there, it's there. Irrespective of whether I want it or not, it is like that. It is objective in nature, and that is the truth. Not only that. Truth is the same for all people, at all times, and at all places. And we people cannot alter it, cannot amend it. It is quite independent. And that is truth. We have to search for such truths and place our belief in it and lead a life in accordance with those truths, and we'll be able to experience the happiness, the comfort, and it shall be our duty to search for these truths. And in fact, that is our real power. Yuyam tat satya shavasa avishkarta mahitvana vidyata vidyuta rakshaha. This is one of the Veda mantras. It says, the souls, you have power, and your power is truth. Shavas means power, satya shavasa means those who have got the truth as your power. So what shall be your duty? Avishkarta, discover truth, search for truth, seek truth. Don't say, I don't have the capacity, I am not capable of doing it. You have. Don't compare with anybody else. Maybe somebody has got a greater capacity, you may have a little less capacity, it doesn't matter, but still you have your own capacity. Use that, employ that, and discover truth. And more you're into the process of searching of truth, your capacity will increase. That's the process. So don't worry about your capacity. Whatever capacity you have, start with that. And ultimately, with this power of truth, fight against all untruth. And your success in the fight against untruth will result in your happiness, comfort, and experience of peace and bliss. That's what this Veda mantra means. So it becomes inevitable for every human being to search for truth. To search for truth, we need to have a scientific temper, a logical thinking, a logical analysis, rational thinking. Without these, I cannot search truth, I cannot distinguish between truth and untruth. So it becomes essential. This capacity to analyze, to think scientifically and rationally, logically, the power what we need is named as Medha in the Vedas. Medha is a rational mind, is a capacity of the mind to inquire, to search for truth. That is Medha. Medha is very essential. And during this process of employing Medha, we question, we analyze, we experiment, we experience, we don't take anything for granted. If somebody says something, maybe finally I understand that as the truth, but I will not just take it for granted, but I do my analysis, experimentation, and try to experience it, and finally take it. Now this thing can be done only by a human being. It's only the human being who is capable of doing all this because he has got a powerful instrument, the human brain. No other animal can do it. They just lead their life based on their instincts. Whereas a human being can go beyond the basic instincts of Nidra, Ahara, Bhaya, Maithuna and try to understand the realities. Only when a human being does this, he is fit to be called as a human being. Otherwise, he is no better than any other animal. This is called as Medha. But here there is a small problem. When you start questioning, when you start analyzing, many people do this questioning, do the experimentation, and keep on doing that only. And they are called as cynics. They are called as non-believers. Because everything they question and question and question. But this questioning should come to an end at one point of time, and once we understand that this is true, this is real, then our questioning should cease and we should start believing it. But it is very clear that our belief is not something without knowing. It is after discovery of truth. Then we start believing. That is, the Medha which has started at one point of time should get transformed into the belief, and the word what we use is the Shraddha. Shraddha is belief in truth. It's not blind belief. Just belief may be blind or may not be blind. But when I say Shraddha, it means belief in truth after searching for truth, after discovering truth. Shraddha means truth, and Dha means to place our belief in it, to take it into our life. A beautiful balance between Medha and Shraddha is essential. Mere belief will take us away from the track. And just questioning and questioning, we will not end anywhere. We have to question, we have to experience, we have to experiment, and at one point of time, we should start believing the result of this experimentation and experience and discovery. And that is a beautiful combination to lead a happy and good life. A balance between Shraddha and Medha. That's a prayer, what we have in the Veda mantra. Same Shraddhancha Medhancha Jatavedah Prayachatu. We pray the God who is omniscient, who knows everything, to bestow on us Shraddha as well as Medha. We discover truth using whatever faculties we have, whatever capacities we have. And once we realize truth, we start believing it. Shraddha and Medha. Let us just apply through one or two examples to understand what is Medha and what is Shraddha. Okay, we believe in God. So it is belief. Now this belief to become Shraddha, we should analyze, experiment and experience and discover the nature of God. If I blindly believe, it is not Shraddha, it becomes a blind belief. So God is explaining. All of us, we know that there is an entity which is more powerful than us, which is more knowledgeable than us, which is everywhere, which is in us, and we are in it. We experience this at one point of time or the other, and that is God. But in reality, what is happening? In real life, what is happening? We show an idol which is not omnipresent, which is not omniscient, which is not omnipotent, and say this is God. We show a photo and say this is God. We go on a pilgrimage and say God is here, but God is omnipresent. This we forget. We run hither and thither in search of God. Now it won't match with the basic nature of, the basic feature of the God, the real God. This God is responsible for the creation of this universe, for the maintenance of this universe, and ultimately when the soul disintegrates, it takes hold of it. Srishti, Sthiti, Pralaya. That's the capacity of the God. And it is the capacity of that entity, God alone, and no one of us can perform these duties. There's clearly a difference between the two. But many a time we fail to understand this difference. And we say we are the uppermost powers in this universe, which is not true. Then, once this God creates this universe, yes, its duty is over. And further, it will be a mute witness to whatever things that happen. It never interferes into the routine things, in the day-to-day affairs of we people. It just is a witness. It just will be seeing. Tayoranyaha pippalam swadvatti anashnan anyo abhichakashiti. One is the Jivatma, or the soul, which will be performing its duties day in, day out. And I got another super consciousness which just looks and will be a witness to whatever things that happen. And that's God. This is what the Vedas explain. And is very scientific and rational. But we pray God, call Him, come down, I'm in trouble, help me out, you come here, you go there, you do this, you do that. I pray you grant me this. I pray you give me the boon. I pray you harm my enemy. All these things we do it day in, day out. But God never involves in these affairs. We try to appease God by doing this and that. It's of no use. God has clearly laid down the rules and regulations, and He says, do good things and get results, which are good. You think bad, you act bad, you talk bad, and you will suffer, you will get punished. It's the rule. You are free to do whatever you want. Whenever I say good and bad, let us be very clear that, once again, search for truth. That which enhances my spiritual power, that which bestows on me peace and happiness, is good. And the experience of mine is the other way, then that is bad. That itself is a scale. So by speaking truth, I am comfortable. I am not afraid of anybody, any inquiry, any question, because I am truthful. If I am not truthful, then I am afraid of so many people and so many things and so many situations. Being fearless is good. Being under tension is bad. Is it difficult to know these differences? Definitely not. But it requires a little analysis, a little experimentation, and a little experience. That's all. And that's the process of finding out truth. What is true is good, what is not true is bad. This is how to understand good and bad. So with the background of this analysis, we try to understand that the power God, the entity God, is omnipresent, is formless, and is everywhere. I need not go in search of it. I can experience God. I stress on the word experience. I cannot perceive God through my sense organs because it is subtler than my sense organs. The sense organs can perceive only those which are less subtler than it. But if there is a thing which is subtler, then the sense organs fail to perceive them. And God is the most subtlest thing. So, This has to be experienced by the soul and cannot be perceived through the sense organs. What we perceive through the sense organs, it is all inert. It's not the super consciousness. What has to be experienced, and the experience is that of peace and bliss. Now, I understand all these things. My search for God will be within, the place where I have to experience it. And I try to make my soul purer and stronger so that I can experience it without the intervention of my sense organs. Because they fail. Because they are grosser, they are not subtler. This is one example. Like this, if I start experimenting and analyzing and thinking scientifically and rationally, the truths will start unfolding. And that's the result of the medha, the application of the medha power. And once I realize the truth, then I believe in it, and that becomes the Shraddha. Shraddha and Medha are very much essential for our peaceful living. We shall try to understand this more and more and employ Medha and finally end up in Shraddha. That gives us a stance to look at the whole world, to lead our life well, comfortable, and peacefully. Thank you. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.